Hey everyone, Dave here, December 1773. With me as always is Ryan. This is episode whatever of the weekly show. All of the week's How to Stop Us with a Twist. You can catch us Mondays through Fridays, 7 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Make sure you like, comment, share. If you're watching on Rumble. Rumble the video. Rumble is the free speech alternative to YouTube, maybe. We're going to find out. Ryan, if you break my heart about Rumble, I'm going to be so sad.
This is something I heard, brother.
Do you understand how much money we've made on Rumble, Ryan?
27 cents or something.
Way more than that.
Oh, really? We're actually profitable.
We're crushing it, Ryan.
Profitable?
We're profitable on Rumble.
Profitable. Steven Crowder, you hear that?
Today we are going to be talking Twitter files, and more specifically, Hamilton 68. Does anyone know what Hamilton 68 is? Ryan?
Sounds like a car.
It does kind of sound like a car.
Or a gun.
Hamilton.
I got 268.
Four on the
Four on the tree. 3 on the tree.
Got positive track.
All-wheel drive posse track.
You're rednecks because we're talking about cars.
Yeah, this baby's got a brand new Chevy 350.
Yeah, put a 362, boarded out to the 384.
Yeah, floorboards all wood, and in case you got to replace them. Fuck it, Dale Earnhardt.
I gotta tell you, one of Johnny Cash's greatest songs is, I don't even know which one it is.
I really don't.
Oh, son of a bitch, for real?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm a big Johnny Cash fan by any means, but he's got a great song about this fucking cobbled together fucking piece of shit car.
Is it idled in my car like Adam Sandler?
No, not quite like that. Twitter files, Ryan. Twitter files.
Mm-hmm. Let's get serious here.
We're gonna stay the course.
I love these. I just can't wait for YouTube files.
No, those aren't coming because, as you said, Ryan, no single individual can purchase YouTube.
Yeah,
it's too much money. I'm guessing. Yeah. I don't know. We've never put it in offer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, they got more money than countries.
It's got to be. It has to for sure be more than Twitter because Twitter kind of sucks. Although I will say,
Twitter's the cheapest social media.
Yeah. Much improved though. Much improved since Mr. Tweet took over. Yoel Roth. We all remember Yoel Roth. Falsely accuses a bunch of legitimate right-leaning accounts of being Russian bots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that from Yoel Roth also?
Yoel Roth!
Schumer shutdown. Hashtag Schumer shutdown.
You son
Unlike Release the Memo, this one is primarily being driven by data from Hamilton 68. I'll do another sweep for spam shortly, but as of yesterday, this looked like the right-leaning hashtag about the shutdown, which only got the label Russian because of Hamilton dashboard of falsely accuses a bunch of legitimate right-leaning accounts of being Russian bots. Interesting. Interesting, Ryan. Because if we remember correctly, was it John Paul Mac Isaac, the Hunter Biden laptop guy? He owned the computer store where Hunter accidentally forgot to pick up his laptop.
Yeah, that's the guy on Patrick Bet-David's podcast said he's afraid of his life.
Yep, and he also
said he would never kill himself, which is unbelievable. We got to keep hearing these similar themes amongst all different levels of people in society.
Well, Ryan, to be fair, once people heard that Epstein hung himself from a bunk bed with a bed sheet, the second the cameras went out, I think that's
I was told by a cop that he believes that Epstein killed himself. I told him he's full of shit. Sorry.
I don't remember where I was going with all of this. The point is, yeah, John Paul Mac Isaac, he was declared as a Russian bot, and the whole thing was called a Russian hoax. Conveniently, it was all swept under the rug. Oh, it's Russia.
And we now know that it was not only bullshit, but that they colluded to make this happen. I know this is proving it, but that was said the entire time.
By conspiracy theorists, right?
Only conspiracy theorists, I'm sure. These tweets from these people have nothing. These emails, the internal documents. Would this be the people familiar with the matter, David?
These are the people familiar. These are the people in the middle of the matter.
The people handling the matter?
Virtually any conclusion drawn from it will take conversations in conservative circles on Twitter and accuse them of being Russian. Now, this is from Yoel Roth also. So, the whole time Twitter knows this. These are quotes by Twitter executives about Hamilton 68, a digital dashboard that claimed to track Russian influence and was the source of hundreds, if not thousands, of mainstream print and TV news stories in the Trump years. The dashboard was headed by former FBI, that's weird, counterintelligence official and current MSNBC contributor, of course, Clint Watts, and funded by a neoliberal think tank, the Alliance for Securing Democracy, ASD.
And that's the organization, Hamilton.
Well, yeah, so the dashboard, Hamilton 68, was I guess this was the guy, Clint Watts. He was the guy, and he was a former FBI agent.
And they were censoring this guy.
And he's a current MSNBC contributor.
And they're censoring him.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
He was the guy who was in charge of Hamilton 68, which was a dashboard that was telling Twitter all these...
I understand.
Yeah. So, and it's amazing. We say this every time, but it's amazing how all these things always tie together. Like, oh, the FBI, and now he works for the media, and oh, they were using this in social media to shut down accounts. Incredible.
Not surprising, but it is incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, didn't we know this during like Watergate, right? Pretty much. Prove some of this.
The ASD Advisory Council includes neoconservatives writer Bill Kristol. That's weird. Bill Kristol, by the way, is a bitch. I don't know, for people who don't know who Bill Kristol is, Bill Kristol is supposed to be this big conservative. He was big on the Never Trump movement. He's a bitch. He threw conservatism aside because he hated Trump so much that he literally joined this ASD, which was, as described here, a neoliberal think tank. So this guy is supposed to be like the head of, not the head of conservatism, but he was supposed to be a big main talking point in the conservative movement. And it turns out he's a fucking total fraud.
Go figure.
Anyone who watched Bill Kristol's Twitter, I mean, he outed himself. Former ambassador to Russia, oh, that's weird. Michael McFaul, ex-Hillary for America chief John Podesta, that's a fucking name I haven't heard in a while. And former
that's the guy that does spirit cooking, right, David?
John Podesta? I heard that guy likes pizza. That's all I'll say about that.
Hey, that's how they caught Tate. Pizza's very important.
Pizza's important.
How dare you?
How dare you? Now arrest me on camera.
Can't wait for Greta's OnlyFans page. She's going to open to fight off global warming.
Ryan, I've seen on video now that Greta does like to be handcuffed. News outlets for years cited Watts and Hamilton 68 when claiming Russian bots were, quote, amplifying an endless parade of social media causes against strikes in Syria in support of Fox host Laura Ingraham, the campaigns of both Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. So this is saying basically the media was getting all their fucking information. So Hamilton 68 were the people familiar with the matter. Hamilton 68 was the source of stories claiming Russian bots pushed terms like deep state or hashtags like fire McMaster, Schumer shut down, walk away, release the memo, Alabama Senate race, Parkland shooting.
That's weird. So school shooting and the deep state.
Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful. Definitely never correlated in the conspiracy space.
No, it wasn't headed by a guy.
What is this graphic I keep seeing of this fucking hand holding out here?
Russian Twitter. I think one of the old Twitter files they kind of showed the image too.
I remember this now.
The secret ingredient to Hamilton 68's analytical method, a list. Our analysis has linked 600. Is that 600? Yeah, 600 Twitter accounts to Russian influence activities online. Was how the site put it at launch. Hamilton 68 never released the list, claiming the Russians will simply shut the accounts down. All the reporters and TV personalities making claims about Russian bots never really knew what they were describing. Twitter executives were in a unique position, I'm sure they were, to recreate Hamilton's list, reverse engineer it from the site's request for Twitter data. Concerned about the
metadata that's not important?
Yeah, the data that they don't have on you. They did so, and what they found shocked them. These accounts, they concluded, are neither strongly Russian nor strongly bots. No evidence support the statement that the dashboard is a finger on the pulse of Russian information ops, hardly illuminating a massive influence of operation. Now, here's where the question is. What did Twitter do about this? I think that's an interesting. They see Hamilton 68, and Hamilton 68 comes out, and they're telling the media. Which, by the way, why isn't the media doing this also? Or did they do it and they say, "Fuck it, this is great for our movement, the media, the movement of the left." But if they know that the the Hamilton 68 thing is bullshit, right? What did they do about it? Did they tell anyone?
Oh, of course not.
Did Twitter and again the other question is, did the media know this too? And if they didn't, why the fuck didn't they know this? Are they not doing their job as journalists? Or did they know it?
If they can leak tax
anyway.
form of people, they definitely knew this stuff was going on. Like it's
I always default at this point in my life, Ryan, to they fucking knew about it and they didn't care, right?
Yeah, 100%.
These people know exactly what they're doing, right? This is the phrase of the show.
Yep.
I don't think these people were just like, holy shit, I didn't even know this was happening. These people know exactly what the fuck is happening, and they're rolling with it anyway because they know that it's good for them, the left, right? Not to create the left-right thing, but I think it's necessary in some contexts. This is one of them. But more importantly, the elites versus us, which is the context I think that is often missed.
Yeah, and then these guys in earlier Twitter files knew that they were holding the silver keys to the pearly gates. You know, like they knew their place in the matrix. They knew that they're gate holders, and they exploited that. This is like predatory information hoarding. And then we see how it can direct narratives, it can shift the country, it can influence presidencies, it can change like conversation. Dude, like people's families got in arguments over some of this stuff that has, you know, the Hunter Biden laptop story, for example, is a prime polarizing thing in the space. And as well, like there was conversations, friends, family, like these people know. It's not that they know exactly what they're doing. It's that I think they enjoy doing what they do. Like there's got to be a certain level of like psychopathic narcissism that feeds into this, that they're allowed to just hold on to information and release it when they see fit.
Yeah, it's almost like they they're drunk off the power, right? I mean, the power
Absolute
of having all this information.
Yeah, this is actually not the dork out here, but Batman became the god of knowledge one time, and he sat in a chair. It's like an alien chair, but he wouldn't get out. Even Batman with like one of the strongest willpowers, and right, like, and that was the idea that is like everybody's corruptible. This is like the Ark of the Covenant, right? Like the one ring in the Lord of the Rings, the fucking Sorcerer's Stone in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
the keys to atomic missiles, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just obvious, and seeing it all is just. I do like the Twitter files because I do like. It's one thing to come on, and we talked about it all the time for years and years and years. We knew this was fucking happening, but to come on and then finally see it in action, to see the proof of it, the emails, the documents, it's incredible. In layman's terms, the Hamilton 68 barely had any Russians. In fact, apart from a few RT accounts, it's mostly full of ordinary Americans, Canadians, and British. Kind of weird.
Well, there's your Russians right there. They're British.
Fucking British. Canadians. Fuck them both. So just as bad.
America light.
It was a scam. Instead of tracking how Russia influenced American attitudes, Hamilton 68 simply collected a handful of mostly real, mostly American accounts and described their organic conversations as Russian scheming.
Look, just regular organic conversation is basically you're a terrorist to these people.
That's right. If it goes against their narratives, if they know it hurts their narratives.
Well, what about the narrative, the other narratives, David, that the statement would be true in that case?
Doesn't matter.
All right, okay. Just making sure I understand the terms of use on a private company that's funded by a global.
No, it's total private entity. Twitter immediately recognized these Hamilton-driven news stories posed a major ethical problem, potentially implicating them. Real people need to know they've been unilaterally labeled Russian stooges without evidence, of course, Roth wrote. Great. Okay, awesome. Yoel Roth, you nailed it. What the fuck did you do about it? This was my question a few minutes ago. Did he do anything about it? We're going to find out. I didn't read this whole thing. The suspense is killing me. But that bothers me. That bothers me that if he didn't do anything about it, which I'm guessing he didn't.
He's not the only one to know either.
Right. There's email chains of all this. So all these people knew about this. What did you do about it? Again, this is what I was saying with the police brutality, lack of leadership. Where's the ethics? Where's the leadership? Where's somebody stepping up and saying this ain't right? We got to do something about it.
Dude, imagine
this is why Tate was so against weak men. Because this whole conversation, all these emails, this is all weak men.
With all the money and power.
Men. I'm not saying they're not intelligent. I'm not saying they're not doing good for their business and all this stuff, but they're weak. They're weak. How can you see this and just say nothing about it?
Yeah, David, it's incredible too, because imagine these people going out to lunch together and CNN's on or Fox News is on and they're seeing the narratives being painted by the things they're directly influencing.
These are dramatically changing outcomes of elections, right? That was one of our biggest problems with the Hunter Biden laptop thing. It literally, statistically, based on poll data, changed the outcome of an election.
David, something else.
Misinformation, can't see it, censor the speech. It's a private company, they can do what they want.
Do you also remember when Trump was trying to ban people from his Twitter and then all the media came out and said this is like the public square and this is a violation of First Amendment rights and all that, right? And then they gravitate behind these people that the president censored and now we're seeing it on the opposite foot. Like, we know that they know what they do. Like, to see the duality, the way they handle things with kid gloves and then the other way they bring the hammer and the chains is... you know what? And to go full circle, like this is a good test for like us to look at and reflect. Like, if I had all the power and knowledge in the world, could I be a good steward of it? Like, do we have men of character that can even handle this level of responsibility to control information that affects every man, woman, and child in the whole world?
Ryan, I suspect myself yourself or myself in this situation. We might not have had our jobs very long because I would have been fucking leaking to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this not to go off on a Crowder rant, but this was the Crowder thing, right? This was Crowder and Daily Wire. Everyone's like, "Oh, can you believe Crowder betrayed his friend at Daily Wire?" You're missing the point. Can you believe what the fuck Daily Wire is doing?
Mm-hmm.
And Crowder was that guy. Crowder was the guy who was like, this ain't right. I'm fucking saying something about it. That's the difference between weak men and strong men. This is ridiculous. These people
you can't buy what's not for sale, you know?
Yeah. Real people know real people need to know they've been unilaterally labeled Russian stooges without evidence. Okay, let's see if he does anything about it. Doubt it. Some Twitter execs badly wanted to out... Here we go. Some Twitter execs badly wanted to out Hamilton 68 after Russians were blamed for hyping the Parkland shooting hashtag. One wrote, "Why can't we say we've investigated and citing Hamilton 68 as being wrong, irresponsible, and biased?" I don't know. Why can't we? Why didn't you? Who are you looking to for your leadership right now? Why can't we say this? I don't know. Why aren't you?
Probably
good on some of these people who are seeing that this is wrong and want to make the right decisions, but you didn't get there. Yoel Roth wanted a confrontation. My recommendation at this stage is an ultimatum. You release the list or we do, he wrote. However, there were internal concerns about taking on the politically connected alliance for securing democracy. And this is where politics comes in handy. He knew what would happen if he didn't play fucking ball. But it's a private company. We have to be careful. Super private. Totally not run by globalists. We have to be careful in how much we push back on ASD publicly, said future White House. I bet you are in the White House now. And NSC spokeswoman Emily Holm, how'd you get there? By bending over and taking it?
Right. Yeah, what credentials do you have? I'm really good at censoring people and helping cover it up. You're hired.
I'm really good at doing what they tell me to do.
Yeah, I really like washing political Twitter dishes.
Jesus Christ. This is the worst one I've seen so far. I'm getting mad.
These people are all Benedict Arnolds, and they are colluding with enemies, foreign and domestic, to bring down America.
What is this? I also have been very frustrated in not calling out Hamilton 68 more publicly, but understand we have to play the longer game here, wrote Carlos Monge, the future senior advisor.
Play the longer game, huh?
Carlos Monge, the future senior advisor. Interesting that to the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg. Interesting that all these people found their way into the White House somehow.
It's just coincidence, David.
I'm sure it's fucking coincidence, Ryan.
It's definitely Veep, David.
It's Veep, not House of Cards. I'm sure all these people were perfectly qualified, and it's just a happenstance that they all got fucking jobs at the White House.
I'm waiting for Ben Shapiro's wife to work at one of these crazy hospitals that's funded by a globalist elite prick or something.
So the legitimate people, as one Twitter exec called them, never found out they'd been used as fodder for mountains of news stories about Russian influence because because the hashtag Twitter files contain a list. They've begun finding out. I'm shocked, says Sonia Mansour.
I feel deceived.
Who as a child lived through civil war in Lebanon. Supposedly in a free world, we are being watched at many levels by what we say online. You don't fucking say.
Well, we got to stop terror. You got nothing to hide, I thought, David. We all got stuff to not hide from.
Yeah, we're not domestic terrorists, Ryan, until they label us domestic terrorists.
Well, if you own a certain flag, you're a domestic terrorist now. So.
I've written a book about the U.S. Constitution, says Chicago-based lawyer Dave Shistokis.
This guy.
How I made the list. This is incredible.
Double shot in the head.
When I was growing up, my father told me about the
McCarthy?
Yeah. The
weird.
blacklist. It's almost like he was right and he warned us against all these fucking communists. Says Oregon native Jacob Levitch, as a child, it would never have occurred to me that this would come back in force and broadly in a way designed to undermine rights we hold dear.
Name one time that it hasn't in human history. I'll fucking wait.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about this? But these quotes, these are all from people who were in on these conversations, right? Like all these people knew what was happening. Do I have that right?
Mm-hmm. It looks like it.
So now that they've been called out, oh, my heart just breaks. Even Twitter execs were stunned to read who was on the list, wrote policy chief Nick Pickles. Oh, here he is. About British comic.
It's not a real name. That's not a real person.
Holber Knowles. A
Nick
wind-up
Pickles.
Merchant. I follow him and wouldn't say he's pro-Russian. I can't even remember.
Wind-up?
Oh, so these people are the people who are called Russians.
Okay.
Even Twitter execs were stunned to read who was.
Yo, the guy talking about McCarthyism was labeled a Russian. Is hilarious. Those communists be like, that guy's a Russian.
I'm listed as a foreign bot, said conservative media figure Dennis Michael Lynch. As a proud tax-paying citizen, I'm not proud to pay taxes, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, you don't.
Charitable family man and honest son of a U.S. Marine, I deserve better. We all do.
Oh, you got lied to in the Marine Corps too. Now you think it's going to be different in the private sector, huh?
Consortium editor Joe Loria, too, was angered to find out he was on the list, which targeted voices across the spectrum. Organizations like Hamilton 68 are in business to enforce an official narrative, which means excising inconvenient facts, which they call misinformation. What makes this an important story is the sheer scale of the news footprint left by Hamilton 68's digital McCarthyism. The quality of headlines like TV segments dwarfs the impact of individuals fabulous like Jason Blair or Stephen Glass. Hamilton 68 was used as a source to assert Russian influence in an astonishing array of news stories, support for Brett Kavanaugh or the Devin Nunes memo, the Parkland shooting, manipulation of black voters, attacks on the Mueller investigation. These stories raised fears in the population, and most insidious of all, were used to smear people like Tulsi Gabbard as foreign assets and drum up sympathy for political causes like Joe Biden's campaign by describing critics as Russian allied. I do remember that. I remember Tulsi Gabbard being called Russian. Incredibly and ironically, these stories were also frequently used as evidence of the spread of fake news on sites like Twitter. Wow. Whew. That was a wild one.
So in summary, a guy used a bunch of metadata to back engineer a list of things that were trending that were going against the big time narratives in the current media cycle. And what they were doing was labeling it as Russian disinformation and bots so that they had pre-justice to selectively down throttle the engagement on their posts.
And I think the key thing in the summary that was slightly the key thing in the summary is that Twitter execs knew for at least a good chunk of the time that Hamilton 68 was BS and that the people were not Russian bots or Russian or bots and that it was targeting ordinary Americans, and the Twitter execs did nothing. They did nothing. They knew about it. It was very clear they knew about it based on the emails, and they did nothing. That's weak men.
Yeah. And just think, we're on the brink of World War III. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch you guys Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Dave and I will be there, God willing, till we're deleted. Catch you guys later. Thank you, David, for your time as always.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Later, man.